After my first manic episode and psychiatric hospitalization and subsequent bipolar diagnosis, I came across the term spiritual awakening, and it really appealed to me in the context of mental health crisis, because it was a way for me to integrate my experience and have it mean something. And for me, the experience of mania involves a lot of insight and aha moments and downloads, and it does really feel like waking up to something. And despite the fact that mania then often spirals into disorganization and, potential dangerous behavior, there is that initial piece of waking up, of learning things in a new way. And I feel like it's really similar to psychedelic experiences in that it can lift us up and maybe show us a little further down the road, right? Maybe show us insights or learnings that we haven't quite grasped yet. It gives us a glimpse as to what's to come for us in terms of our learning and integration. And those are gifts, and they're valuable. And the term spiritual awakening was helpful when it came to making sense of a manic episode that I had a psychiatrist just write off as crazy, right? There's no sense thinking about what you were thinking when you were manic, because that's just crazy. And that didn't feel helpful to me, because it felt like, there was crazy, but there was also some learnings. And so I resonated and still resonate with this term spiritual awakening, and I think that if it's helpful for folks to integrate their experiences of expanded consciousness, that's fantastic. The problem I have with the term spiritual awakening is that it seems to come with this idea that if mania, psychosis, expanded states of awareness is waking up, then anything that attempts to moderate or stabilize that is inherently bad, right? And my experience of that term and people who were speaking about that term is that there was this vilification of psychiatry. And I had really traumatic, both of my psychiatric hospitalizations were very traumatic, and there are a lot of problems with psychiatry and the way it's practiced. I feel that, and I feel for all of us who have been, obviously and undisputably harmed by psychiatry. That is there and that is real. But the idea that all of psychiatry and all medications are bad because my experience was one of awakening, and therefore medications that attempt to stabilize me are working against my awakening and therefore 100% bad. And we're all learning, and that was the sea I was swimming in after my first psychiatric hospitalization, was this anti-psychiatry movement. And I understand why people are there, because psychiatry is really fucked in a lot of the ways that it's practiced. And also, I think the fact that I was so anti-psychiatry after my first episode really meant that I wasn't using the tools, because psychiatry has some great tools in the form of medication if they're used well. And my resistance to psychiatry as a whole meant that I didn't reach for medication soon enough in my second episode, and it was really, really bad. And so now I really take this balanced approach. I try to walk this middle ground of both is best, and of each person needing to figure out the tools that work for them. And we can, appreciate our experiences of mania and expanded states and psychosis and even depression, these places that our brains and nervous systems take us as gifts, because as hard as they are, there is so much rich learning that happens in these states, and it's it's a part of human consciousness that not everyone gets to experience, and there's gifts in knowing what it feels like and in walking in those worlds. And also, I, as a parent, know that I can't be spending all of my time walking in those worlds, and I really, really appreciate knowing that there are medications that keep me stable when I need to be stable, and that there are medications that I can reach for if I'm starting to feel unstable. And I feel like, it is one tool in my toolbox, of which I have many, to help navigate this life of sensitive nervous systems that can go to places that not everyone can go to. And seeing those places as gifts, and also recognizing that stability is also a gift, and sometimes that's what I need most. And medications in the right dosage and the right ones are really helpful at maintaining stability for those of us who can't always be wandering in ethers or in the underworld. And so I just share this because in so many places our world is polarized, and it is an area that I feel really strongly about, that we can integrate our mental health crises through an energetic spiritual lens, and we can also make use of tools of Western medicine and psychiatry to help us finding those moments of stability where we integrate our expanded experiences. I would love to hear if this resonates for you, what blends of tools you're using to help navigate these wild roads. I hope you're well enough, and sending big love.